How's it going? I'm Ryan. Today I'm going to go over the two trades that I took. Took one trade on RTY, took another trade on ES. My first trade on RTY was a loss. My second trade on ES was a win. Our win was just over, twice as large as the loss. So we're up on the day just under 200. We have a $190 profit on the day. On a 50% win rate, I'll take that. And let's get into it. We also will go over a trade on NQ. So realistically, I could have taken a trade on all three of these. NQ presented the best opportunity, but I just missed it. Like I said, I'll go into that after I cover the two trades I did take. So let's take a look at the trades that I did take, and then we'll look at that missed trade on NQ and what we can learn there. So out of the gate, what am I watching? On all three of them, all three of the indices, right? We are in the previous day range. We're within the previous day high and low area. We have a pre-market range form within there. And so really what we're looking for is a break of a pre-market range and some sort of continuation in the direction that it breaks. We're looking for relative strength, relative weakness, and then, chasing the best horse, essentially, placing our money on the horse that looks like it's going to win. Anyways, let's take a look at RTY. I took a short here. It didn't work out. And we can take a look at why this was not the best trade. It wasn't bad. I had pretty good risk to reward on it, but it didn't work out. So maybe that will cloud my hindsight in thinking that I shouldn't have taken it in the first place. Let's take a look. So RTY was relatively weak. NQ was breaking to the upside. ES was kind of holding on to pre-market lows, but weaker than NQ. And then RTY was dumping. So it definitely had relative weakness. We formed a little low here. We moved up and tested pre-market low. On the 5-minute, we tested that pre-market low and then closed below. On the 5-minute again, we kind of formed a hammer. I should have maybe paid more attention to this 5-minute candle here. But we tested it again and failed. And then I was watching on the 2-minute, and we tested here, fail, tested here, fail, tested here, fail, tested here, fail. And then we closed below this. EMA on that 5-minute, and then we opened up and retest that EMA, and that's where I entered. I got a little bit of not the greatest entry. It was only about half a point off of where I wanted to enter, but excuse me. I essentially what I wanted to see there was closing below the EMA, rejecting off the EMA, and then continuation down to low a day. So my take profit was low a day. My stop loss was above this candle wick right here. So I had a 2.5 point stop, and I had a 7-point take profit. So, about a 3-to-1 risk to reward there. It didn't work out, right? We moved higher. This reversed completely and stopped me out for a loss. It was only one contract. It was 130 points. So about 2.5 points of risk there. Now, what I can say about this is two things, and I've been repeating this, so you've probably heard me say it if you watch any of my content, is that this RTY likes to reverse. It reverses way more than NQ. It reverses way more than ES. NQ will trend, right? ES might chop or trend. RTY will reverse. It will show you something and then just completely reverse the opposite direction. It does it to the upside, it does it to the downside. It presents a lot of opportunities to play a reversal. And that's not really the way my system works very well. My system mostly works for continuation patterns. And so RTY can get me. The reason why I like to trade it is it allows me really solid risk to reward. A lot of times I can risk like 100, 150 to make like 250, 300 pretty consistently. So it's usually about like a 2-to-1, 3-to-1 risk to reward on it, which is why I will take trades on it. But my win rate could certainly be better, and I think that's because I'm looking for continuation a lot of the times when it's really going to reverse. But let's take a look at what I could have waited for. So we did, right? We got this move down, but then we got a pretty aggressive pop off the bottom, right? If you look at the 2-minute chart and that 5-minute, pretty aggressive move off the bottom, and then we start to form this consolidation. And what I could have done is wait for some sort of break of this consolidation, and we got that here, right? We broke out, and then what did we do? We continued to climb higher. So had we broken to the downside of this, rather than enter on this candle when we were still within this, consolidation, if we broke this consolidation, and then I can look for maybe some sort of entry. So that's a lesson of what I can do different next time is when we're within this consolidation, maybe wait for a break, maybe wait for some sort of confirmation, especially when I'm trading RTY, because it is less predictable to me. At least I have a harder time understanding it. All right, let's go to ES. This was my second trade. What are we watching on ES? Pretty much the opposite, right? ES broke to the upside. It was climbing higher, 15 minutes looking nice and bullish. What are we doing? We're looking for a pullback and continuation to the upside. Well, we get a pullback down to this EMA. I wait. I was very patient. I'm proud of myself. I waited for this 2-minute candle to close right here. In fact, if I do this, you'll be able to see right where I entered. I waited for this 2-minute candle to close. As soon as it did, I marketed in as close to that EMA as I could, set my stop below that wick, took profit at high a day, and then set a runner a little above high a day based on these candle wicks up here. And then I was going to leave one more runner for this like 97, 98 zone up here where that previous day high is. So first take profit hit, took off 10 contracts for $287, took off that runner when we broke high a day for 38 or so, 39, and then my runner got stopped out when we pulled back below that EMA. So I just trailed my stop on my runner and we got stopped out. But here we are, you know, back towards where my entry was. So it's looking like we're gonna get a little bit of a deeper pullback. Maybe we hold that 48 EMA, we'll see. But yeah, just pretty simple stuff. We break higher, we pull back to the EMA, get some sort of confirmation that we're holding that EMA. I enter, and then I look for continuation. Take profit at a move higher up towards high a day. Trim my runners as we break above high a day by a few points, and then leave one and just trail the stop and look for a bigger move on it, which ultimately we didn't get. So that's really it. It was pretty simple, but that was a nice trade, right? We kept our risk pretty small, and it played out and it caused us to have a nice winning day. So let's talk about the trade on NQ that I didn't take today. It was actually the very first trade I tried to take, so this could have been just a one and done type of day, and it would have been a really nice win as well. So let's take a look at it, and I'll talk about why I did not take this trade. So NQ is the strongest out of all three. NQ had relative strength when ES was still within the pre-market range. NQ had already broken above. We got two 5-minute closes above. We got the first 5 minutes and the second 5-minute close above. That second 5-minute retested the pre-market high and closed at the high of the candle. Really bullish stuff. We got the nice 15-minute close above as well. So what was I looking for? Well, once we got this confirmation, I was looking for a pullback to the EMA and that pre-market high zone. If I pull up, oh, it's already up. So what I was looking for was this right here. I had set a buy limit at 114. I guess I'll take that off in case something were to happen. But I set a buy limit right around 114, like right here. We pulled back and we missed it by 1 point maybe. So I didn't get entered. I had a limit order and I didn't get in, and I was placing a stop just a couple points below. I think it was like 14 points was my risk, and I was going to target high a day and then leave a runner. My runner was going to be set at 170. That's where like these wicks are, where the first kind of level of resistance I would expect to be around 170. So I was going to take off the majority of my move at the high a day, leave a runner for 170, and that was it. So that first move was over 30 points, or almost 40 points. So that first trim would have been about 400, and the second one would have been a little over 100. For, you know, we're looking at, it would have been over a $500 day had I got entered on that trade. It worked out really well, which is, you know, helps build the confidence to see your idea work. Know that had I entered, it would have been the absolute bottom, and I would have had to move well over 100 points, you know, before it started to pull back. So there's some confidence building, seeing my plan work out in real time, seeing it being a very successful trade. But it also really pained me that I didn't get in, and it's my fault. You know, I can't blame anybody else. I set a limit order. I was trying to snipe an absolute bottom, and I almost got it, but I didn't, and it cost me. So we're all good. Like I said, we're still green on the day. We'll take a one night, around $200 a day. If I can average $200 a day, I'm really stoked on that. So I'm not upset by any means at the result of today, and I'm glad that I stayed patient and waited for a setup and was able to capitalize. So it all works out, but this is the one that got away. That was actually the very first trade that I tried to take and should have taken, because it was the best opportunity, it was the best risk to reward, the best potential. But we were able to make things work with coming back and ES treating us to a little move, later in the day. But that's all I got for you. Thank you for watching. I will be trading throughout the rest of the week, trying to keep growing this account. We are at account highs, right? We continue to grow our account. We're just under 2K profit. Our trailing drawdown is almost maxed out, so we're doing really well preserving that. That's a big point of emphasis for me on these accounts, is making sure to preserve my trailing drawdown, because that has gotten me before. And the way we do that is by managing risk and by playing this right. So that's all I've got. Things are climbing higher. I was kind of wondering, because I kind of imagined we might, especially with how aggressive a drop yesterday was. Just took out all that liquidity, all the stops, people who were long, and just swept all those lows, and then just started to climb right back up. So it doesn't surprise me that after taking highs that we went and swept some liquidity lower before moving back up. Anyways, that's all I got. Thank you for watching, and yeah, I stream live. This whole trade was streamed live. I'll be streaming live the rest of this week, the next week, etc. Well, actually, next week I'll be in Florida. I won't be streaming, but I will be trading, and I might try to make some update videos or some reviews. We'll see. I might not trade a whole lot because I'm gonna be on vacation, but more for that to come as it approaches. Take it easy. Take care of yourself. Thanks for being here. Peace.